A very good afternoon, and thanks for clicking on to the Sunday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. This was information released by the Met Office just a few days ago. The first 6 months of 2022, the driest since 1976 for England, and you can see here that we've seen a significant decrease in rainfall across the UK, especially after peaking in 2014. Of course, we had the El Nino, we've seen the jack up in temperatures, and then, of course, the multi year La Nina took place that followed the Super El Nino, and we've seen a sharp drop off in rainfall across the British Isles. Certainly in recent years, 2019 to 2022, a very dry period, but we've seen that back at the during the last solar minimum, where we've seen a La Nina in place as well, 2010, 2011, and then we've seen, of course, the turnaround in 2012, and I fully expect that turnaround to take place in the next 12 to 18 months. I think that's my opinion anyway, that El Nino possibly just around the corner. We're edging closer and closer to solar maximum once again, and we'll see this flip in the precipitation pattern across the British Isles. But certainly looking at rainfall over the next several days, we're going to see little of rain across particularly the south portion of England and Wales, where we've seen little in the way of precip through the course of the last couple of months, certainly July in particular. So really right along that south coast of England, we're going to see very, very little in the way of rainfall through the next couple of weeks here. So the first half of August looking very dry indeed. We've got rainfall. The further north you go, the wetter it is. The further north, the further west you go, the wetter it's going to be. And I really do think that once you get out of the Midlands, it's not too bad. Yeah, it's still dry, but I don't think it's just quite as severe in terms of the dryness. And if you want to call it drought, then so be it. But you can see here, certainly down across the far south of the UK, we've seen little in the way of rainfall. Few spots not recording anything at all during the month of July. Looking at the precipitation compared to average. Now, this is, of course, of the University of Reading, and you can see here that we've actually got above normal rainfall across the northwest. We've got 80% in the northwest coast of Northern Ireland, or in fact, that's Malin Head, Irish Republic. We've got 108% of normal in Wick, as you can see here, but of course, you get down to the far south here, 0% of normal rainfall in, kind of what would that be? Probably kind of Reading way, actually. So, yeah, very dry, and the outlook remains very dry as well here, and that is going to encourage heat, I think. Now, it all depends on the type of setup that we get in terms of the strength of the Azores Ridge, how far north it gets, positioning of that ridge, all remains open to question. And I do think that the Mann-Julian Oscillation progressing eastwards through the tropics will have an influence on the upper air pattern across the Atlantic, the UK, and Europe. This upcoming week, folks, is going to be a very hot week across Iberia. If anybody is going away on holiday, it's going to be very hot indeed. Like I say, now if we play through the sequence here, this is today, the final day of July, and we've got the 40s on the table here across parts of Portugal and the southern and central portion of Spain. As I play through the course of this week, you can see here, day by day, we're going to see temperatures well into the 30s, into the low 40s here, and we could see temperatures approaching possibly the mid 40s in a few spots, I think, as we go through this week here. So it's a prolonged spell of hot conditions across pretty much all of Iberia. You're not going to escape it, even on the coastline, I don't think. Looking at France, equally very hot conditions as well here as we press through the course of this week. we are going to be seeing temperatures creeping into the low 40s here. Exactly how hot remains to be seen, but you can see here that we've got 41, 42 Celsius to the east and southeast of Bordeaux. Between Toulouse and Bordeaux, we've got an area of 40s developing, and to be honest with you, we could even knock on the door of 40 this week, even in the greater Paris area as well. So very hot conditions is becoming pretty well established. It's been a hot summer, of course, down across Iberia, across France, and extending into the central portion of Europe as well. We've seen a bit of back and forth, and then of course we've had little outer edges of this extreme heat clipping the southeastern portion of the UK. Generally, Ireland, northern half of the British Isles, so Northern England and Scotland, generally been escaping on the whole the heat, I think. We had, of course, an extreme temperature for Scotland, 34.8 Celsius at the Charter Hall, when we've seen the 40.3 recorded in Coningsby in Lincolnshire. But generally speaking, with the northwest in particular has managed to fare not too badly here. But you notice here we do continue to see this fight, this battle back and forth between Atlantic trying to move in from the west, and of course the heat trying to lift north out of Africa. We've got another system comes through during the course of tomorrow, as you can see here. But you follow the isobars here, and we've got a kind of west to southwesterly airflow, milder associated with that system on the south flank, and therefore with any sunshine, especially across southern areas between Cardiff and the London area, extended perhaps up towards Norwich, Cambridge, for example. We're going to see several opportunities for low 30s, I think, through the course of August here. And it's generally the further west and north you go, the more unsettled it becomes here. But certainly down across the southwest it's been hot, and it will continue to be hot, I think, through the month of August here. Speaking of the month of August here, this is the CFSV2 weeklies here. So the upcoming week, we've got, of course, a couple of systems coming through. So we've actually got above normal precipitation across parts of Ireland, North Wales, the central swathe of England, drier than normal across the northwest and across the south of the UK. Firmly below normal rainfall. Week 2, as you can see here, widespread below normal across the continent as well. Week 3 and week 4, we're seeing drier than normal conditions. This, by the way, takes us out to the 27th. There is hints off the CFSV2 for it becoming a little bit wetter, as you notice here, end of August and into early September. Long way out, and of course there is going to be back and forth with the models here overall. Looking at the 500 millibar height anomaly charts here for week 1, and you can see here we've got, of course, the negative to the north, lots of high pressure across the south here, warmest in the south, coolest in the north. Week 2, there's that area of high pressure centered over the northern half of the British Isles. Warmer, drier than normal will be the theme. Week 3, 13th through the 20th of August, we've got high pressure again dominating the weather pattern here. And then as we push towards the end of the month, you notice here that the Icelandic low starts to reappear once again. So we'll keep an eye on that, certainly as we go through the month of August here. Looking at the we had a very significant, if I can find it, we had a very significant temperature contrast last night across the UK. This was a tweet here by the Met Office, and we had a low of 3.7 Celsius at Kinbrace in Sutherland in the Highlands here. Temperature barely dropped below 20 Celsius during the overnight in central London here. So a massive contrast in temperature in north and south over the course of last night, which is quite interesting here. So yeah, I think that's it for now. I'm trying to cut it as short as possible. I've got the rest of my August outlook to publish, which I will do. It will be available before the end of today. Do check that out, and please drop, of course, a comment below if you've got anything to say with regards to what I'm talking about, the August outlook. and even the fact that the summer actually overall I don't think has been particularly bad. I've scored an 8 out of 10 for the month of June and a 7 out of 10 for the month of July, and I'll let you be the judge of those figures to see what you think compared like reality versus basically the forecast here. So I'm generally I'm quite pleased with the way this summer has panned out so far, and we've had the extreme heat a couple of times through the course of this summer as well. Heat was always going to be a major player, especially over the continent this year, and I think overall it has been a major player. So I do appreciate the fact that you watched today. Hope you're enjoying the rest of your weekend, and I'll hopefully be back again tomorrow with more. Please like, share, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.